Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. So today we're going to learn how to derive the quadratic formula. So the first step in writing this derivation is to actually write the quadratic equation. And the quadratic equation states that, let me get the pen, states that, let me just get the thicker version, ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. So this is the quadratic equation. So the process of deriving this quadratic equation is actually just solving for x using the quadratic base equation. So the first step in doing that is actually taking values that or terms that include x to one side and the others which don't include x to the other side. So in this regard, we have ax squared plus bx having x, and then c having only being the one term that doesn't have an x. So the first step, then we're going to take this c to the other side, and in taking it to the other side, we're going to change the sign, because the moment you take a term to the other side, or the other side of the equation, it changes a sign. So we're going to have ax squared plus bx equals to negative c, right? Then the next step from here, we are going to actually take out this coefficient, the a, and take it out, and in doing that, we are trying to simplify these terms so that we can use this method called completing the square. You'll see as we proceed. So we're going to take a outside and then write x squared plus b divided by a, since we didn't have the a, x equals to negative c, right? Then the next step from here, we're actually going to divide both sides by a. So the reason we're dividing both sides is because when we are initially dividing by a, we're adding 1 over a. So suppose I'm just doing this, dividing by a. I've added a value or a term to the whole equation, and that term is 1 over a. That is 1 divided by a. So I have to do the same to the other side, and in doing that, I'm going to do the same thing to the other side, right? So now that the equation is balanced, after we added 1 over a both sides, we're going to cancel out this a, right? And this side, we cannot cancel these two terms because they're not the same. Then we're going to proceed from here. I took it up too much. We're going to proceed from here. We're going to write what we left with, and what we left with is ax squared plus b over a x on this side. So it's x squared plus b over a x equals to negative c over a. So I hope you're still together from here. Then the next step from here, we're actually going to I'm actually going to show you how we're going to achieve this method of completing the square in simple steps. So the first step in doing that, we're going to look into this coefficient with x, the second term with the coefficient b over a with x, right? With the base x. So the coefficient in this regard is b over a. So we're going to take this coefficient b over a, right? And we're going to halve it. So the first step is halve the coefficient, right? And the second step is square the coefficient, right? We're still together. So we're going to take b over a, and we're going to half it. And in halving that, we're going to have, let me just do a line here. We're going to have 1 over 2. That's half b over a, right? And then we're also going to square it. So that is squaring the whole of this term. And to simplify this, we're going to have b, 1 times b is b, divided by 2 times a is 2a. Then we're going to have this squared. We're still together, right? Then from this step, we're going to take this simplified value, and we're going to add it into this equation, both sides, obviously, because what you do on the left you must do on the right. So it's gonna be x squared plus b over a x. We're going to add this term to this other side, that is plus b over 2a squared equals to negative c over a plus b over 2a squared. Right? Then from here, then we're going to do 4 simple steps. You have to remember on this side that we're gonna achieve a factorized version of these 3 terms, 1, 2, 3. So the four steps you have to know is you're going to first write this x, take this sign, take this value inside the brackets, and take the exponents. That's the 4 steps you need to take in literally simplifying this whole term in less than a minute or in less than 2 seconds. So it's first taking the x, that is x, taking the sign of the second term, that is plus, and taking this value inside the brackets, that is b over 2a, right? And then from there you're going to put brackets to all these 2 terms and put the square. That's literally all you need to do to factorize these 3 terms. That's one thing they don't want to tell you at school, and this is the trick you have to remember. And then from there you're going to have these terms as they are. I'm going to start with this one with a positive sign and then write this second. So you're going to have b over 2a squared minus c over a. Right, we're still together? Then I'm going to just take the screen up. Right? Then from here, I'm going to simplify this term. Right, I'm going to simplify this term. I'm going to break it down so that I can take out this brackets and take out the square. So to do that, obviously we're going to say b times b, or like b, because these are 2 brackets because it's to the power or to the exponent of 2, right? So is b times b. Let me just write this term on this side so that we won't be confused, right? Because we're working with the other side now. So equals to b times b, or b squared is b squared. Then 2 times 2 is 4. Then a times a is a squared, right? Then minus c over a. Then the next step from this is to find the common denominator, right? And in doing so, I can actually see that to have the same denominator as this side on this side is actually multiply this term by, let me just change the color, by multiply it by 4 because it's going to be 1, right? We're trying to add something that's going to be 1, so that on the other side it won't make a difference. We're trying to, when you add something, we're trying to make it that the whole equation is balanced. So me multiplying it by 1 won't make a difference, because 4 divided by 4 is 1. And then I'm going to also add, because this is squared, I'm going to add a and a, right, together. Then from here, I'm going to just write this side as it is. Equals to, then we have b squared divided 4a squared minus c times 4a is going to be 4ac divided by a times 4a is 4a squared, right? Then from here, we're going to have what we call the same denominator, right? And in having that, obviously these two terms are the same at the denominator, so we're going to have x plus b over 2a equals to, the denominator is 4a squared divided by b squared minus 4ac, right? Then from here I'm going to, okay, let me take this whole term and put it on to the next page, because I'm running out of space. Let me just copy it and paste it on the next page. Just 4 minutes, and then I'll be starting this whole step. Yeah, so then from here we're going to have to square both sides. So we're going to square both sides, and in doing that, let me just push it to the side. Yep, we're going to square both sides, and in doing that, we're trying to cancel this square, because you must remember from the law of exponents, when you square something, it's going to cancel. So we're going to have something like this, and then also on the other side we're going to have a square, and then this two, they cancel, and then we also have plus minus here. And then when these two cancel, on this side we have x plus b over 2a equals to plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divide by 4a squared. So in solving this equation, you must realize that this term can be simplified. So I'm going to show you how, because I just saw a 4, and then if you square 4 we have 2, if you square a squared we have a, right? Then we're going to simplify this denominator. So we're going to break this whole square root into 2 square root from the numerator and the denominator. So you're going to have x plus b over 2a equals to plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac, right, divide by square root of 4a squared, right? And then from here we're going to have x plus b over 2a equals to plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac AC divided by this 4 squared becomes 2, and this a squared becomes a. We're still together? Then from here, I think some of you might see that we are achieving the quadratic formula, because the essence now is actually taking this term to this side, and then we have achieved what we're looking for. So you're going to have x equals to, when you take a term to the next side, it changes the sign. So this positive is going to be minus. So it's going to be minus b over 2a plus minus square root of b squared negative 4ac divided by 2a. Then from here, we see that we have the same denominator. So obviously, we're going to simplify this term by saying x equals to 2a as our denominator. Then this is going to be negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. And then, as you all know, and you've seen this equation before, and you've used it in solving a lot of second polynomial equation in solving for x, this is our quadratic formula. So this is our quadratic formula. I think this is not a good part of writing this because I've used q in referencing the coefficient. So this is going to be our quadratic formula, as a lot of you have seen it in almost everything. So this is quadratic formula, and there you have it.